class. How is everyone today?
Good.
Good. So we've been learning about significant moments in history. So now we're gonna we've also talked about important people. Last week we talked about like Benjamin Franklin and all his inventions and everything. So now we're kind of gonna switch on into a different unit. And so before we start, I want to do a little activity. So I'm going to pass out this piece of paper. And I want you, okay, so I couldn't get it to be bigger, but just imagine you are the first person to discover this place. And you get to do whatever you want to it. So I want you to write down 3 things you would do, see, or have built here. Okay? So I'll give you a minute and a half to finish this. So that's one part of the land. Here's a different part. So just write down kind of what you would do, what you would build, since you are the very first person there. So just write down what you think. There's no wrong answers. We'll just share after. When you're done, just put your pencils down. Oh. Okay, so now I want 3 people in the class to share. So if Catherine, Connie, and Caitlin could share, that would be awesome. Okay, we'll start with Catherine.
I will build a house, and I will see flowers and take pictures.
Okay.
Okay, that will be a house too, and more trees because it's cooler, and I want a hot air balloon.
Ooh.
I would plant a flower garden, build a farmhouse, and raise animals.
Nice. Now, question. If you got there and you did all that stuff, then you figured out that people were there before you, would you change what you thought? Would you change what you would do, or would you keep the same? I mean, you can't really tear down the house, but I mean, like, would you do things differently if you had known that before?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're kind of gonna start talking about kind of settlers who moved to a place and kind of made that place their home. And so we're gonna start out by talking about the European settlers and how they migrated and created Jamestown, and found out that there were Native Americans living there. Okay, but before we start, here are our outcomes for today. Can we all read them together? Let's start with this first one up here. Ready? Begin.
Students can identify the human interaction hardships between the Europeans and Native Americans.
Okay, this one.
Students can see point of view of Europeans and Native Americans hardships through a debate.
Okay, so those are the outcomes for today. So they're kind of our goals that I hope we can accomplish by the end of the lesson. And so I'll keep this up here as a constant reminder for us to remember. Okay, and so like it said, we're kind of gonna have a debate. And so I am going to give you a kind of refresher or an idea, give you an idea of the Europeans and the Native Americans and their point of view. And then I'll let you read over it and then make some notes, and then I'll split you up into groups, and then we'll have our debate. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so if Catherine and Caitlin could be in one group, and then Connie and Chelsea be in one group, but when Chelsea comes, so I'll be with Connie. So if you guys are gonna be the Native Americans, and we will be the Europeans. Okay, so if you guys wanna get together in your group, kind of read it together, share your ideas, refresh yourselves on what we learned, then we'll go from there, okay? So I'll pretend to be Chelsea. So she's here. Huh? Oh yeah, this paper kind of gives the general information of both the Native Americans and Europeans, but then this paper is a different page. Okay. You can just skim through it, you don't have to read the whole thing. So you're kind of just reading it, kind of to get the general idea of the Native Americans and kind of their point of view on when the Europeans settled in their place, in where they lived. Because through the debate, we're kind of gonna have a debate on what the, like, kind of each group's stance on this issue and what they thought and how they felt about each group. ready? Okay, so. Okay, so you guys are the Native Americans and you guys are the Europeans. So this is the guided question. I wrote it in 2 different ways so that you guys would be able to understand it from both sides. So how did the Europeans react to the Native Americans, and how did the Native Americans react to the Europeans? So it's kind of the question that I want to ask. You guys can feel free to use those papers to help guide your thoughts. And so we can start this discussion. Whoever would like to answer one of these 2 questions, and then we can go from there. So, okay, I'll ask the Native Americans. How did you guys react to the Europeans?
So we didn't really, well, we never had a understanding of land ownership. Just the whole community just shared the land, or we couldn't buy it, we couldn't sell it. So then when the Europeans came, it made a lot of culture clash, and then that ended up in war.
So you guys didn't like that they,
Yeah,
Yes.
we didn't
why? Tell me why.
Native American, they are more like, they like nature things.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship with them.
Yeah.
And then, so bad. The Europeans just wanted the land so they could conquer the land and have the riches from it.
Europeans, how do you feel about that? How did you guys react to seeing, it's good. How did you guys react to seeing the Native Americans on your land on that land when you first got there? How do you think they felt?
How do I think they felt?
So you're European and you sail to a country and you found it and it is beautiful and you want it all to you and your kind self. But then you go around the tree and you see all these Native Americans in their teepees. What do? You still want the land, but what do?
Well, you can stay there, but my part is mine. And I think that the land is free, you don't own it, right?
It's free for us,
Not free for you. See, that's where the hardships came. They clashed because of that. So you were willing to share, but they weren't willing to share, right? And somewhere in there it says that the Europeans wanted to take some of that land and begin to build buildings. How do Europeans feel about that? They're going to build buildings and sell it to different kinds of people who want to buy those pieces of land, sell what they want on there. But you say you couldn't buy or sell the land. So how do you feel about that?
They don't respect our belief or.
That's false belief. Only one.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Because they're all Christian.
No!
So
And
you
you judge us, you say we are not Christian?
See, so okay. So another question for you. So besides these kinds of hardships between the land, what else do you think they had hard times with, since both of them were living on the land?
Trusting each other.
Trusting each other, okay. What else? I honestly don't know what they thought, but just go ahead and feel whatever you do.
I think they're so judgmental. They judge us, they say that we are not spiritual, but then we are so spiritual. Like, yeah, we're spiritual.
Yeah.
Why do you think they judged you and said that you're not spiritual?
Because they think that we are not Christians, so they cannot trust us.
And not only not trust, Ukrainian think that they were evil.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you think that they're evil?
We feel like they just came unannounced, And took still, over, didn't even try to get to know us, just made judgments just like that. I think we're able because we're different.
still our place.
But when we got here, no one were here.
Because you never look around.
If you live here, you stay here, okay?
Yeah,
If
because
you
I
don't
don't
stay
look
here,
around.
so you are free. These lands are free.
So, who's right?
We are.
Yeah. Do you think they're right?
No.
Do you, no? Why?
Because
Because what?
okay, they are not right because first of all they are evil. Second of all, we have more knowledge to know how to deal with this land to make it more valuable.
Oh, that was a nice comment. What do you guys think?
We feel like we're taking care of the land the way we know how and that we've survived all this time.
Yeah.
And it said here,
According to the article.
according to the article, we went from 8 million to less than 1 million as soon as you guys came.
You just come and kill us. We need to survive too.
Then you eat us?
I didn't eat you.
So-
We just hunt.
How do you think they solved this problem? Just to start wrapping things up. How do you think they solved all these problems about trusting each other, thinking they're not Christians, they're judgmental, no one was there, they're evil? How do you think they kind of, what's the word for it? Compromised. How do you think they compromised? Because I mean, they've had to because 40 here, right?
I think I sent the Native Americans to reservations.
So then, your hands on. See, so I guess there wasn't really much of a compromise. I guess the Europeans kind of
They just
took over. But you guys had some really valid points. This was a great discussion, guys. I really loved how you guys kind of rebutted with each other, kind of just gave your reasons, gave your points of confidence, got your information from the paper. So, in closing, I just want you guys to kind of, so now that you guys have kind of seen kind of the points, 2 different points of views, just kind of write down some of the differences that they had, some of the similarities that they had, and then write down maybe 3 of each, and we'll go from there. Then tomorrow, we will kind of talk about this further, and then talk about kind of how we'll get a better understanding of how they solved the problem, or how it was kind of just pushed to the side as the Europeans overtook the land. Okay, so as soon as you guys are done, if you guys aren't done with that, I want you to take that home for homework. Maybe ask your parents what they know about this, see if they can give you a little more insight, and then bring those ideas back to class, and we will go over them, see what other insight everybody else has. And so yeah, that's the end of my lesson.